pencil that in initially. That's all I have.
Any other old business? New business. First thing on there is the cleaning and maintaining of the township parks. I know we've done it for years. The township road department has mowed the parks. We've painted the buildings in the past. We've done things, and so here again, we're making an effort to get the parks cleaned up. And I saw an email go out about that not being properly funded. So there is a resolution in your packet to go with the meeting. I just want to kind of go over that. Whereas Jefferson Township trustees have a need to manage the township public parks without being there being a specific fund or levy to perform these needed tasks. It is in the best interest of the township and its residents to have a fully functioning park system for Jefferson Township. The Jefferson Township Board of Trustees intend to proceed with the road department employees performing all needed maintenance in the township parks. Whereas the Jefferson Township Board of Trustees will have all the needed materials for repairs and maintenance in the parks paid for from the general fund. Now there be resolved, the Jefferson Township Board of Trustees do hereby approve the road department personnel to perform all needed work in the parks. Any project that is projected to exceed $1,500 must be approved by the Board of Trustees in a separate supporting resolution. Now, Tracy, I didn't know, I looked through my, as I said, we've never done this. I was over the road several years ago, and we took care of the parks and we painted the buildings, and this never came up. It was always done by the road department. And our township doesn't have a levy for the roads. We don't have funding for, for the parks. We don't have definite park funding, so I guess it comes under the general fund. I didn't know if or what code fund to label any of this to in the resolution.
Well, it depends, well, you can create one, it depends on what your this material or whatever is used to go into a line item. So you can create one specifically for a park, but it would be like if you buy an operating supply, then you put an operating supply. You know what I'm saying? There's material, equipment, or something go in the equipment.
Does that need to be in the resolution?
No, I'm just saying, when you do the purchase order though, it needs to be approved in the purchase.
Yeah, we took care of that already. You and I talked about that, right? You okay with that one?
Oh, with the one that we have, yes.
Yeah, we spent $500 on paint and supplies.
Yes, but as long as we get an approved purchase order and I get a number for it, that's fine.
Okay.
Tracy, did we ever pay off the $27,000 water bill from
Long time
Richardson?
ago.
So that's clear.
So what you're saying is we're gonna have a lot of work in Strand Park because we're gonna have to replace all the water pipes.
Well, plan to put the water back on.
Okay.
Yeah, at least for now, I can
No,
do
plan
something.
to put that water back on.
Well, I think we would need to vote on that.
Yes.
Make a decision on that. Because
Yes.
if
This is just basic. I mean, if you think about it, mowing the grass in the parks, we've done that for the road guys have done that under the road department for years.
Right.
Well,
And all of a
if
sudden,
you
it's bringing up,
do
that's why we're doing this, to protect
we do
ourselves
that
from
for
all.
the cemeteries too, but we have a cemetery fund, but the cemetery don't have any.
The road department has always been called road department and cemetery. Road guys have always been called road and cemetery, so they take care of the cemetery.
The reason that was brought up is the email chains talking about roofs, and it's not just basic maintenance. No, you're talking roofs, structural issues with buildings, and it was labeled a beautification project. So there was a lot, and I'm okay with that resolution because basically if it gets into the big expenditures, it's gonna come back across our table.
That's why I put that sentence in there, just to protect ourselves. We've got to watch the dollars. Some things we can afford, some things we can't afford. Excuse me? Okay, and so that's why I put that in there. So if you got any big expenses, if we do that roof and everything, that has to come back to the board. We gotta approve that. That kind of thing. Everybody good with that? I just want to talk about that in the work session before you go to the top and then bring it up to the regular meeting. Okay.
So for for, like you were talking about the roof, it has, both of them have gaping holes in it.
Yes,
And so,
we can just,
we'll just let those, are you leaving those like that, or
no,
at some point down the road, you'll
I
address
still want
that?
to do that, I see how the money goes and everything, but I'd like to do that, I'd like to go do that this summer.
Okay.
And my guys feel confident we can do that in-house. They feel that we can do this. I mean, take it down, put some sheeting up. We feel that we can, fix that, but we need to come up with, okay, price of ply, okay, it's X by X feet, we'll take this many sheets of plywood, and this much shingles, and come up with the price, and then come back, hey, board of trustees, we're gonna, here's a resolution, we're gonna take that money, X amount of dollars from this fund and pay for that. But this is just a generalization for the day-to-day stuff in the parks.
But you're gonna have, okay, road staff's gonna be tied up with nuisance mows, the regular mowing, and all this.
That
And
mowing
then
doesn't
you've
take,
got-
that
and then
mowing
you've
does not
got
take the amount of time you think it takes.
Outstanding requests for pothole repairs.
We got all that, that's right. So we'll see if we have time to get to the roof. We might not get to it this year. That's correct.
Well, so my comment on all this discussion is, in general, this should not be done in the middle of the year, as I've said several years. When you make a decision, you knew the roofs were bad, you knew the parks were bad, that should have been put in the budget.
I didn't,
So-
okay, then we won't do it this summer.
No, I'm
Tracy,
just
we got
saying,
plenty of
I'm
things
just
to do.
saying.
You and Jim have both given me a hard time, okay, so we won't do the roofs this summer, let it go, we'll do it next year.
You guys gotta evaluate it, and you gotta
I
find the
know that.
funds, is what I'm saying, that's what I was getting, that's what I was getting.
Okay, we can
You take
let it go.
offense,
The,
Mike, you take offense to every time I try to tell you the right way we should be doing it. This was the comment I was making, you're the trustee, you make the decision, but the budget needs to be
That's why I
done.
had this sentence in there for the $1,500, we went over that, we was gonna come back to the trustees and see where our money was. I thought I had it already taken care of, but we gotta
But
drive
you
it
did,
in,
and that's what
drive
I
it
said.
down to the table.
So I think, this is what I think,
There's a
because,
question back there.
Is that something that we could possibly, you know, if people are willing to volunteer, is that a possibility?
Absolutely.
Or also, you know, is it a possibility that we could, maybe patronize, one of the local hardware stores as far as material?
I think we've given Lowe's a lot of business, so I thought about approaching them about donating something to the township. They like a good public image also.
And I'm sure there's some people that are, own construction businesses and, I'm sure it's a possibility that people would be willing to volunteer, to help, fix the parks up, roofs, whatnot,
Right.
and kind of lighten the load on the, budget as well, so.
You see them you see them being mowed regularly, you see them, the buildings being painted, you see us redoing the backboards, painting the backboards, putting up hoops, getting where the kids can use them. You're gonna see a change in the attitude in the parks.
I just figured, if you look at the big picture, there are other avenues we can, utilize to try to, make it more sufficient as far as, spending wise. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Russell.
and I was going to say, that we're getting, as long as we get the resolution passed to get everything set up so that when we do need to spend money, we can even use some of the ARP funding for that. I'm sure the attorneys will be able to tell us if we can or we can't. So we have options, and we're not just stuck in, okay, wait for.
And we're also stuck on ARP funding, we could do other funding too that would possibly come. back.
Exactly, we can do that as well, so.
well, trustees, it doesn't matter a major project, but I'm a big advocate of putting high-ticket stuff during fourth quarter. Because that way we know what our financial pictures is. We've had our collection, and that's something that was taught to me that, instead of blowing a bunch of money up front, let's make sure we know what the end of the year looks like before we start committing those dollars. If we have a slow start to winter, we've got time in the fall. So Now, that's typically when the grass slows down and the snow's not flying, that might be the window to do this.
Okay, that's a good thought. Any other comments on parks? It started just because that resolution, we need to kind of get that out there. Next thing I have on new business on the agenda is the need we've talked about several times, is the need for more key fobs. So I believe we've got some paperwork from HSI. We have to buy them at 100 key fobs at a time. 100 key fobs sure we think will last us for a long time. And they're $5 a piece, is that right, people? Is that right? That- So $500. How do we want to divide that up amongst the different groups before we get into the regular meeting? I just want to make a motion that we're going to buy those from HSI for $500, and this percentage is from this percentage is from this, and blah, blah, blah. Any suggestions?
We have more turnover in the fire department than we do in any other department. But in saying that, a lot of the key fobs that when people do leave, they're supposed to turn in their key fob, and we can always reassign those, but I understand we need the additional, so when they don't, the township is not struggling, trying to figure it out at the last minute.
I mean, they've got to turn in their uniforms, so somewhere in there, there's got to be a requirement they've got to turn
Trustee
in.
Beck, did you do anything further with that form I had sent you? We talked just before I went on vacation. You made some suggestions about some rewording and then going the page 2 and 3 down to a single page. Did you do anything at all with that?
No, not yet. Well, yeah, I did. I did bring it down to, I actually brought it down to one page. I thought I sent it back to you.
One?
Yeah.
At least I haven't seen it.
So what I'm gonna throw out on the floor, guys, is talk about the size of the fire department and that. I don't know how this lies with the auditors or Tracy, but so of the $500 bill, 50% for the road, 25 general and 25 road. Does that sound like?
Yeah, I wrote in there twice.
You got to.
Okay, 50 for the fire, 25 general, 25 road.
Sounds
That
good to
sound,
me. That sounds good to me.
what do you think, Jim? Does that sound okay to you?
That doesn't sound bad.
Okay, we're down to about 9 left of the original 75, and I got 2.
Did you ever tell you what, so are they on the shelf, and we order them today, we'll have them tomorrow?
Oh, no, 4 to 5 weeks.
Oh, we need to get them ordered.
They gotta be programmed, and I'm not sure if they're coming from the country. Hopefully won't get stuck on a container ship off the coast of California for a while. But they said 4 to 5 weeks.
Couldn't you put a charge on those to encourage them to turn them in with their
Oh,
uniforms?
yeah, that's part of the paperwork.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
they will be charged for it. I've got 2 fire department employees that have lost them, so they had to be reissued new ones, and they were deactivated as lost. And then you've got 2 administration key fobs over there. One road, one administration, you guys are about back, looking at trying to acquire those back.
The road, I need to start working on, the administration, you know, when
It's on-
it was
I've got those keys.
I'll give I reached out to them. That is,
Yeah.
okay. But I need to get things back, and that's a conversation with me.
And they can be zeroed out and reprogrammed for a different department or how you want.
So we'll just do a motion in the meeting, is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
That's all I have.
And for $500, just kick out a PO. Stick it
Yeah, I was
in
getting ready to say, right, PO.
Just write a PO and put it in.
Yeah.
No, I've got the invoice, just need somebody to sign it, it's only 55 more days. They gave us 30 days at this point. And once you get the okay, I send it to them, and they'll send her an invoice electronically. And she can pay it online,
I mean, HSI is probably gonna want a
50%.
check up front.
50%. And she can do it electronically online.
I didn't really have a purchase order.
What's that?
purchase order. You said 50, so you're only paying 50%.
Mhm.
So I need.
You got a fund to put that out, I'll have to look at it.
I think you already have a purchase order, yeah.
Again, we can do it building, one of the buildings, for one of our
You just need
existing.
one for the road in general. I just gave you a package of appropriations and that's the most current one. You need one.
The old one.
Okay, anyway, so we just come up with some fund codes and get that approved. That's all I have on the work session. Anybody else, anything else they want to talk about?
And what about the thing on the building?
Huh?
Oh, no, we don't have that. That's from the,
Is it another building?
it's the next meeting.
Oh, no.
Motion to adjourn in.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes,
Trustee McGuire?
Yes.
Trustee Bat?
Yes.
we were adjourned at 6:50.